Have you ever stopped to think that, even with all the technology and knowledge we have accumulated, there are mysteries that remain unsolved? It is curious, almost disconcerting, to imagine that there are phenomena in the world that challenge the greatest geniuses of science. What if I told you that some of these riddles not only defy logic, but also seem to send a chill down your spine? Yes, we are talking about 10 places and events so extraordinary that they seem more like works of fiction than reality. You may even think that everything has an explanation, but does it really have? Why do some stones look like they were laser cut thousands of years ago? How did challenging geological formations emerge in unusual locations? And what about supernatural phenomena, such as eternal flames or mysterious disappearances in the middle of the ocean? Get ready, because what's next isn't just stories. It's invitations to question what we think we know about the world. And the best, the last place will surprise you like never before. Are you ready to dive into a universe where the real and the inexplicable intersect? Let's together unravel these 10 mysteries that continue to intrigue scientists and arouse the curiosity of those who dare to question. Imagine yourself in the middle of the Saudi Arabian desert, in front of a landscape that mixes mystery and grandeur. There is Al Nasla, a rock formation that seems to defy all the laws of nature. The precision of the cut that splits this rock in half is so exact that it's hard to believe it wasn't done with advanced technology. A laser, perhaps? And the most impressive thing, this was done about 4,000 years ago. It is as if time has kept the craftsman of this enigmatic work a secret. You can feel the shiver just imagining who or what would have done it. But does the answer lie in science? Some experts theorize that this perfect cut is the result of geological movements and erosion over the centuries. There's even the idea that winds carrying grains of sand acted as patient sculptors, shaping the stone with precision. And if you find this intriguing, try looking at a rock in your backyard and thinking, what would time and the elements be able to do? It sounds simple, but it's a powerful analogy about how the unseen forces continually work in the world around us. Interestingly, Al Nasla is not alone. Ancient engravings on the surface of the rock, depicting human and animal figures, add even more layers of mystery. Were they messages, reports of an ancestral people, or just art? A tip: if you are a fan of riddles, visiting archaeological sites is an experience that connects history and imagination in a unique way. From here, we begin to realize that nature and history have a peculiar ability to surprise us, just like the chocolate hills in the Philippines. Our next intriguing mystery. In the Philippines, in the middle of the island of Bohol, you are faced with a sight that seems to have come out of a fairy tale. 1,268 perfect hills, with conical shapes and incredibly similar sizes. Known as the Chocolate Hills, they don't get their name for nothing. During the dry season, the grass that covers them dries out, taking on a brown color that resembles chocolate. It's the kind of scenario that makes you wonder, how can something like this exist so accurately? And the most curious thing, scientists still do not have a definitive explanation for its origin. Some say that these mountains were shaped by underwater volcanic phenomena millions of years ago. Another theory suggests that it was the winds, working patiently over centuries, that carved each hill. But what if it's nothing like that? Some local legends claim that they are the solidified tears of a giant named Orogo, who mourned the death of his beloved. Sure, legends have their charm, but they also remind us of how much geological mysteries can inspire enchanting stories. Now, here's an idea. Imagine using this fascination with the unknown to explore places in your own area. There may not be chocolate hills in your backyard, but a trail, a quirky rock, or even a sunset can make room for new reflection. And if science is still trying to explain these hills, are there other formations that defy our understanding? With that, we enter an even more curious scenario, a forest where trees dance, located in Russia. Imagine entering a forest that looks like something out of a surreal dream. In Russia, there is a place known as the Dancing Forest, where pine trees defy all expectations and grow with trunks that are curved, twisted, and in some cases forming complete rings. It's as if nature itself has been inspired by a mysterious choreography. Despite its peculiar beauty, the phenomenon continues to intrigue scientists and visitors alike. After all, what makes these trees dance? Some theories point to caterpillars of the butterfly Rhiationia bulliana, which feed on the shoots of trees, causing deformities during growth. Other hypotheses talk about strong winds that shape the trunks when they are still young. But what if there is something beyond? Visitors report feeling a different energy in the forest, as if there is an invisible force guiding the trees. It's a reminder that not everything can be measured or explained, and it awakens our sense of wonder. And what can we take from it? If you think about it, the dancing forest is a living metaphor for resilience. Just like these trees, we all face external forces that try to shape us. But in the end, what appears to be a deformity can become a unique work of art. Now, let your curiosity grow like these logs, because we're about to explore a colossal mystery, the fascinating Eye of Africa, also known as the Rick-Hat structure. In the heart of the Sahara Desert in Mauritania, there's a formation so extraordinary that it can only be fully appreciated from space. The Rick-Hat structure, nicknamed the Eye of Africa, is a geological colossus with an impressive 50 kilometers in diameter, looking like a giant spiral drawn in the middle of nowhere. When astronauts first spotted it in 1965 during the Gemini mission, they were as intrigued as scientists trying to decipher it to this day. What would have created this eye that watches over the African continent? Geologists believe that the structure is the result of an atypical volcanic eruption, which occurred about 100 million years ago, followed by millions of years of erosion. Still, this explanation does not satisfy everyone. The symmetry and isolated location have raised theories about meteor impacts and even extraterrestrial interventions. For the curious, visiting the Eye of Africa is a journey that mixes science and adventure. But be prepared, because the desert is not for amateurs. And you know what's fascinating? The Eye of Africa reminds us that Earth is full of secrets that go beyond what we can see on the surface. After all, if something so great is hiding in plain sight, who knows what else the planet holds? And speaking of impressive formations, imagine giant stones balanced on very thin rods. That's the next mystery, coming directly from Russia. In the vast landscapes of Russia, a geological formation draws attention for its almost impossible aspect: the stone mushrooms. Imagine giant rocks, up to 9 meters high, balancing on thin rods, defying gravity and logic. These structures, located in the Karelia region, seem to have been carved with a purpose. But in fact, they are the result of the mysterious action of nature. The big question is, how can something so seemingly fragile be so long-lasting? Scientists believe that these mushrooms were shaped by natural processes, such as erosion caused by strong winds and glacial activity during the last ice age. However, there are those who speculate that seismic tremors or even underground rivers may have played an important role. And of course, there is no shortage of local stories that attribute the creation of these formations to supernatural forces. For those who love geological mysteries, visiting these rocks is like immersing yourself in a fairy tale carved out of stone. And why does this matter? These formations remind us that even the seemingly impossible can have an explanation, even if it takes centuries to find. And this leads us to an even more challenging mystery: a sea that seems to swallow boats and planes without leaving a trace. Get ready to visit the Devil's Sea in Japan. About 100 kilometers south of Tokyo, Japan, there is an area of the Pacific Ocean as enigmatic as the Bermuda Triangle. Known as the Devil's Sea or the Dragon's Triangle, this place is the scene of unexplained disappearances of boats and planes. Reports from navigators and pilots describe mysterious failures in electronic equipment and sightings of strange lights. The most famous case is that of the USS Cyclops, a ship that disappeared in 1918 with 309 crew members without leaving any trace. Scientists are trying to unravel the mysteries of the Devil's Sea with theories that include intense seismic activity, underwater volcanoes, and magnetic currents. But despite the efforts, nothing is conclusive. On the other hand, Japanese myths and legends associate the place with sea dragons, supernatural entities, and portals to other worlds. It's fascinating to imagine what could be happening beneath the waves, an unseen and eerily unknown world. And what does this teach us? The Devil's Sea challenges us to question the limits of our technology and understanding of the planet. If to this day we have not been able to solve the secrets of this place, what other wonders and dangers can the earth hide? And speaking of mysteries, have you ever thought of a statue from the 10th century that exhales smoke and seems to be alive? We will travel to Italy to discover the Colossus of Apennines. Near Florence, Italy, a monumental statue seems to hide secrets that defy time. The Colossus of Apennines, created in the 16th century by sculptor Jean de Boulogne, is more than just a work of art. It's a fusion of engineering and mystery. At over 10 meters tall, this gigantic figure not only exhales smoke from its mouth and nose, but also cries through an internal plumbing system. Looking at it, you feel that you are in front of something almost alive, as if the spirit of the mountains itself had taken shape. Most intriguing is the technology involved. In an age without advanced machinery, how did they manage to create such a complex system? For history lovers, the Colossus is an incredible example of how human genius can overcome technological limitations. In addition, the statue is rumored to hold secret chambers and underground passages. Is it a simple legend or another piece of the puzzle? If you ever visit Florence, the gardens where the Colossus rests are worth exploring, an experience that mixes beauty and enigma. And you know what's even more fascinating? This work not only inspires us to appreciate the past, but also makes us think about what might be hidden in other parts of the world. Like, for example, in the desert of Nazca in Peru, where giant drawings have remained intact for centuries, waiting for their turn to tell us their secrets. In the vast and arid desert of Nazca, Peru, there are marks that defy logic and comprehension. The famous Nazca lines form gigantic designs, geoglyphs, that include animal shapes, such as hummingbirds, spiders, and monkeys, as well as human figures that appear to be wearing space suits. Created between 500 BC and 500 AD, these lines have survived time thanks to the region's dry climate. However, the question that has echoed for centuries is, what was the purpose of such grandiose drawings, visible only from above? Some experts believe that the lines were a form of communication with deities, while others suggest that they could be linked to irrigation practices or astronomy. It is curious to think that, even with all the current technology, we have not yet been able to fully unravel the message left by such an ancient civilization. Imagine living in that time and participating in such an ambitious project, drawing something you could never see in full. This isn't just a mystery. It's also a lesson in vision and purpose. And if the Nazca lines teach us anything, it is that humanity has always had the ability to dream big, even with limited resources. These works inspire us to seek the extraordinary, to explore ideas that seem impossible. And speaking of extraordinary phenomena, what would you say about a flame that never goes out, located behind a waterfall in the United States? We'll dive into this mystery in the next topic. In the heart of Chestnut Ridge Park, just outside of Buffalo, United States, lies a phenomenon that seems to defy the laws of nature: the waterfall of the eternal flame. Imagine a waterfall with running water and, just behind it, a flame that never goes out, even under the impact of water. It is as if the two elements, water and fire, have found a way to coexist harmoniously. It is no wonder that visitors are fascinated and even a little amazed when witnessing this natural wonder. Scientists explain that the flame is fueled by an underground reserve of methane gas, which escapes through small fissures in the rock. However, there is one detail that still intrigues experts. Why does this flame persist with such intensity and stability? Some believe that methane comes from organic matter fossilized millions of years ago, but the exact origins remain an enigma. For those who visit the place, There are reports of a unique, almost spiritual vibration, as if fire carries a deeper meaning than just a chemical phenomenon. And what can we learn from this? The eternal flame waterfall shows us how the extraordinary can exist in even the most unexpected places. She also reminds us that science doesn't always have all the answers, and that's okay. Let curiosity get you going, because our next destination is just as fiery as this one. The intriguing ruins of the Pyramid of Coquilco, Mexico, where lava and mystery intertwine. In the southern region of Mexico City, in a place called Pedregal de San Angel, there is an archaeological site that seems to hold memories of an almost erased past. The Pyramid of Coquilco, this ancient construction, dating back to 1200 BC, was partially buried by volcanic lava, turning it into an archaeological mystery that intrigues scholars to this day. Imagine the impact of such a devastating eruption, which not only destroyed an entire civilization, but also preserved its legacy under layers of hardened rock. Archaeologists believe that Coquilco was inhabited by a people who worshiped the old god of fire, a Mesoamerican cult that reflects reverence for the forces of nature. The pyramid itself, with its unique circular structure, is different from traditional Mexican pyramids. However, what most intrigues experts is the lack of information about the original inhabitants. Were they victims of a cataclysmic event, or was there something more? The few clues found at the site, such as offerings and pottery remains, only intensify the questions. And if we stop to reflect, Coquilco is a powerful reminder of how nature and history are intertwined. It teaches us that even the greatest human feats can be silenced by the forces of the earth. Now, after exploring these 10 fascinating places, we realize that the world is full of riddles that defy our logic and knowledge. Each mystery invites us to look beyond the obvious and question what we think we know. Have you ever stopped to think that, even with all the technology and knowledge we have accumulated, there are mysteries that remain unsolved? It is curious, almost disconcerting, to imagine that there are phenomena in the world that challenge the greatest geniuses of science. What if I told you that some of these riddles not only defy logic, but also seem to send a chill down your spine? Yes, we are talking about 10 places and events so extraordinary that they seem more like works of fiction than reality. You may even think that everything has an explanation, but does it really have? Why do some stones look like they were laser-cut thousands of years ago? How did challenging geological formations emerge in unusual locations? And what about supernatural phenomena, such as eternal flames or mysterious disappearances in the middle of the ocean? Get ready, because what's next isn't just stories. It's invitations to question what we think we know about the world. And the best, the last place will surprise you like never before. Are you ready to dive into a universe where the real and the inexplicable intersect? Let's together unravel these 10 mysteries that continue to intrigue scientists and arouse the curiosity of those who dare to question.